Overall, I think this may be the greatest NASB Bible I have ever dealt with. This is an emergency Bible review. Attention! This is an emergency Bible review! Sir, it's an emergency Bible review. Ma'am, put down your cat. It's an emergency Bible review. Hello, faithful friends of the internet. I'm Jason Mayfield, and this is an emergency broadcast of the greatest show about Bibles on the internet. Tear up your Bible tools. There's a Bible that I've been waiting to come out for a while, and some of you who've been following me for a good hot minute know that there was a moment where I did a review on the Schuyler NASB Quintail. Some people call this the thin tail because apparently they used to make it really big and then they put lighter paper in here and lower GSM paper and they made it skinnified. This is probably the best NASB format I have ever seen. What I don't like about it, now the inside of it is great. It's a great layout. The font is great. The font is actually, this is going to sound so crazy to some of you, but the font's actually a little big for me. And I think when I read this, the large size font is a little disorienting because I'm so used to smaller fonts in my Bibles. My Cambridge wide margin's got a smaller font. My ESV thin line that I've used a lot in a lot of different variations has smaller font. The ESV Journaling Bible, smaller font. The Heirloom Bibles that I have, smaller font. And so I'm just used to a smaller font. So this has been a little disorienting. So even though I recognize this as the greatest layout ever, the font's a little weird. And then there's another problem with it. You can't really write in it. There's no margins in this thing at all. It's up to the edge of the page. Schuyler was nice enough to send this Bible to me for free. Granted, it was broken, and they told me, hey, and they told me this up front. They said, hey, if you want it for free, we'll send it to you, but you got to fix it. And so I had to fix an end sheet had fallen out or something, and stuff that's just not acceptable with this quality of Bible, so they gave it to me for free. Well, here's the thing. They said, we're going to take this Bible, and we're going to make it in a wide margin format. Now, wide margins, that's got my attention. So without knowing anything right now, let's just talk about some facts. Number one, talking about an NASB, okay? Potentially the greatest Bible translation on the planet. The NASB. We're talking about luxury Bible here, okay? Talking about Schuyler. They make some for real stuff, okie doke. And we're talking about wide margin. Wide margin, you can write in it. More room for tearing things up. You can write in it. That being said, the NASB, Schuyler, wide margin, Quintail. Is that what they call it? What do they call this thing for real? The Schuyler wide margin Quintail NASB. It is here. And not only is it here, it is here. I want to take a few minutes and talk to you about this Bible. This is kind of an important Bible review. I do not always share with you Bibles that I have a particular interest in. This is kind of a space where I'm bringing information to you to help you land into a Bible that's really good for you. So sometimes I'm reviewing Bibles that I've been asked by publishers to review. Sometimes I'm reviewing Bibles that are just popular. And sometimes I am reviewing Bibles that I have a vested interest in personally that I particularly love and think it's great for me. Today's Bible review is going to be a little extra important, and I kind of want you to hang with me, and I'm going to do some things maybe a little differently as we go. But this Bible is potentially going to be the Bible for me moving forward. I have got some things in my mind that make that decision very important that I'm not going to share with you because this is what happens. I share things with y'all that I'm just thinking about and may or may not do, and then all of a sudden 3 years later y'all are asking me intense questions about it. So you're not going to get any information. If I do it, you'll find out. If I don't, you're not going to know. Ha! 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 But this one's a big deal. This could be a big deal in the Bible community, especially for people who really love to write in their Bibles. I want to start by just giving this disclaimer as we move forward, and I think you should listen to the whole thing. But this is a $230 Bible. Now, I also want to say this, that when I was not doing so good financially, that there was a day where we were not in the position we're in now, I bought a $300 NASB wide margin, a Cambridge. So I see the value, and it's not that I just have money to throw around. Speaking of throwing money around, I do want to say this. I had to buy this Bible. They did not send it to me. Hello there. This is Jason from the future, from my phone. I'm editing this video right now, and as I'm editing it, I get a message from Evangelical Bible, and they did offer to give me roughly half off of the Bible in form of refund. So I just wanted to say this. When I filmed this review, so you know kind of where the bias lands, I 100% paid for it. It was completely mine. But I did want to just acknowledge that they were super generous and sent me that message while in the process of filming this. So thanks, y'all. So what all of you need to do is email Evangelical Bibles, evangelicalbible.com. Y'all need to go over there, you need to email them, and you need to tell them Jason Mayfield needs to be your premier reviewer. Speaking of having to purchase stuff, I do just want to say thank you to all of the people who support what I'm doing here on this channel over at jasonmayfield.com/give. Without you, I would not be able to do what we're doing. So the Schuyler NASB, wide margin, quintil. Let me give you some details here, okay? And this is straight from evangelicalbible.com. As far as I know, the only place that you can get these. Also, I have no affiliate link, so when y'all go buy these stinking $230 Bibles, I'm not going to get any kickback. And that's just a shame. So this particular one is an antique marble brown goat skin semi-yap cover with dark brown leather lining. We'll explain all that later. It's a 9.5 font. It is line matched to avoid some see-through. It's a 40 GSM paper, which is super thick for Bible paper. Smith Sewn, double column, paragraph format, italics for supplied words. That's an NASB thing. That's not special to this Bible. That's an NASB thing, and it's one of the great attributes of the NASB, by the way. Black leather text, meaning that the words of Christ are in black, which is really, I think, helpful when you are a writer of the notes in Thou Bibleist. It's got presentation and family history pages. Meh. It's got a concordance. Concordance. I call it a concordance because, listen, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, and we'll know how to talk. It's got Schuyler maps, 3 gold ribbons, Art Guild edging, red undergold with gilt line, gold line inside the cover, 32-page lined notebook paper in the back. Listen, this Bible is the bomb. So what we're going to do is we're going to get down into this, and I'm going to compare it to some Bibles that may and may not seem like they're related to it, but I'm really going to take this from the position of this could be my Bible moving forward. Okay, so number one, there it is. Isn't that gorgeous? First things first, this has got a, this is called a yap when the thing goes over, the cover goes over the pages. This has probably got the biggest yap on it out of any Bible that I've ever had. So very cool. You'll also notice this right here, a little bit of imperfection on it. I think that's from me messing around with it in the last couple of days. I do want to say something. Sometimes I go and I see reviews about these things, and y'all get these things in, and they got a speck or a spot or a little something funky, and I see reviews on these sites where people are going nuts because their Bible wasn't absolutely perfect. Some of y'all, the problem is you've had Bibles for 3 or 4 years and they're absolutely perfect. And that's why you've had no transformation in your life. So listen, stop being upset about that stuff. It's going to happen. This stuff's, it's handmade. It's not going to be, every Bible is unique in this kind of fashion. You're going to have little spots and dents and dinks and stuff. And if it's major, contact them. But if it's not earth-shattering, just calm down. So you've got the gold line inside. I really like that. You can tell this is a very deep red. The art gilding. Art gilding is, with the red under it, it's like an optical illusion because it's gold, but it's red. Ah! You got 3 ribbons. I'll be honest with you, I think 3 is probably about the right spot. 3 is probably the right number. I've gotten into some, you know, that have had 4. 4 is probably overkill. 3 is probably just right on. One of the things I really like about this Bible is I like that they have these red accents with the numbers. I always speak well of that anytime I see it. Down here, you've got red in the footnotes for all of the verse numbers. I don't know that I like or dislike that the verse numbers are not red. But the chapter number's red there. So I like that. Okay. Now, this is a double column format. I've been a big proponent of single column. I like single column because you write your notes outward and everything just kind of goes to the outside. You could do that in a double column. And I guess in my brain, my analytical side has not been able to see that. But I mean, you could write over, anytime because it's your world. It's your Bible. You can do that. So you can write notes over to the side if you wanted to. But it's a double column format, and I kind of am going back to double column, especially with my time in the ESV thin line this year. This is the Bible I'm tearing up currently. Let's go to a page that makes me look a little better than that. Oh, look at that. That one's got stuff on it. But so I've been in this one, and the thing about double column is it actually helps you to recall things better, I think, because it helps you to visualize the page, especially once you've started writing on it and stuff, and there's other marks. And so now, if you're thinking about something from John 17, you might not think John 17. You might think John 17, right-hand column towards the middle of the page. Bam, that's what you're thinking of. So I think that helps you to visualize and to memorize a little bit better. That's just me personally. So if it's a Bible you're interacting with every day, I'm a real proponent of double column. Now, this text, I told you earlier that the the NASB thin or Quintel that they sent me before, that the text was a little big and it was disorienting. Well, let me show you something. The text in here is significantly smaller. Trying to find a way to do this. So you'll notice, that's a significantly smaller. And I think that this is exceptionally more readable. Exceptionally more readable. I think this is the best font I've seen, and seeing it at this size helps. This is the best font I've seen up against Crossway. Because let me tell you something, Crossway makes this, they use this beautiful font that is so readable, it's so pleasant to the eyes, everything about the way they format these Bibles, perfect. Other than the fact that they don't put in italics for supplied words. That's just a major thing to me. It's not major enough that I don't use the ESV, but I wish it was served up a little easier when I'm reading and not having to search down whether a word's in there or not. Where this one, don't have to do that in the NASB. So we're going to talk about the margins in a moment, but I want to just talk for a second about this paper. It's 40 GSM, okay? What I was not prepared for with this Bible is the thickness. I knew it was going to be thick. I took out a tape measure and looked at it compared to other Bibles off the specs. I knew it was going to be thick, but this thing is thick enough to be a study Bible. It is pretty massive. And so I'm going to compare the thickness to a couple of Bibles. This is compared to the thin or the normal Quintel. Okay. By the way, the Quintel and the wide margin, same page layout. So that way you can take this if you want and just use it. They are coming out with a personal size, so you could use that like a pit minion. And that, from what I can see, looks like it's going to be incredibly readable versus the pit minion, which is virtually, visually, I don't know the words I'm looking for. It's the worst. So that's compared to that. If you were to compare this to probably what it will be the most often compared to, and we'll look at this in a minute, the Cambridge wide margin. You see it's got some weight on the Cambridge. It's big. It's big. And then also the Heirloom, I haven't done a review on this, and I might, but the Heirloom wide margin from Crossway, you can see it's nearly double the size of it. This is a big boy. He's a big boy. So real quick, we looked at the thickness. Let's look at some weights on these. Look, I'm getting all Randy Brown over here. This thing is 3 pounds, 13 ounces. We're going to call it 4 pounds, okay? This thing's 4 pounds, and you feel it. I've never had a Bible that I picked up and I thought, man, I feel that. The Thintel, 2.5 pounds. I know 5 is not half, but I'm rounding. Get off my back. Math. That's the Cambridge wide margin NASB. That's almost 3 pounds. It was 2 2/4, 2 2/3. And then we also have the Heirloom wide margin 2 pounds. And then compared to what I'm using every day, the thin line, 1.5 pounds. So it's a big boy. He's a big boy! It's a very large son of a gun. That is something Randy Brown's not going to say in his videos. Now, the thickness is due in large parts of that 40 GSM paper, which is going to be, and I'm not going to test it for you, sorry, but it's going to be great for writing. You can feel a thickness to this paper, but 40 is probably more than you need. You could probably go to the mid-30s and be fine. I don't know a lot about GSMs, but I kind of know what my different Bibles are. And so like I know this is a 28. The Heirloom is a 28. Okay, so this is a 28. This is almost half the size of this. Now, also the page count, plays into that. So this is, actually these are about the same amount of pages, I think. Maybe a couple hundred off. Versus the Cambridge, which is like a 500-page difference between those two Bibles, which actually is great because you can put less notes on one page because there's less scripture on one page. So there's a ratio there. I talk about it in other videos. Go watch them all. But this one's like 28 GSM, very small compared. This is almost a perfect Bible, to be honest with you. The size is perfect. Matt Everhard did a video on this. As a matter of fact, Matt Everhard's the reason I got this Bible. And I also bought 2 other ones because I thought I would want them, and they stopped making them. This isn't about this Bible. Matt Everhard, you cost me a lot of money. I just want you to know that. I'm going to write you an invoice. The problem with it is 28 GSM for the way that I do notes. I've been testing it out. I don't think it's going to hang in there. And my wife's not particularly into this thing. And I even asked her, I said, what do you think? She said, I don't think that paper's going to hang with you very long. And so a thicker paper's good. 40 might be a little overkill. I think this Cambridge is 38. So I think a 35 probably would be fine. You're going to expect some see-through. You're going to expect a little bit of bleed here and there. 40 is going to be really great, but I think I would trade off a little bit of the size of this thing because it is a behemoth. Real quick, just to show you, I'll compare it to one more. This is the Interleave Journaling Bible. And I mean, you see how thick that is? Good grief. The Interleave is like a smidgen thicker. So let's talk about these wide margins, okay? In my brain, I thought when I, read the specs and everything and kind of the way it had been talked about, I thought this was going to be the widest of the wide margins that have ever wide margined. And I also want to tell you, if you want the widest wide margins, the ESV Large Print Journaling Bible is what you want. It's the largest wide margin you're going to find that I'm aware of. But this thing, the wide margins are not crazy wide, even compared to the Cambridge, okay? So you're going to, these outside are basically the same, and I'm not going to take out rulers because it's all, people act like if it's 0.1 inch bigger, your whole world's going to change. They're relatively the same size. Now, you're getting more space up top. You're getting a good amount of space at the bottom. Some place, I don't know that that's consistent. I think it shifts. Maybe not. Maybe it's a tiny shift from page to page. But the bottom here, you're getting a good amount, not quite as much as here. The words on the page, though, there are less words on the page compared to any of these other Bibles that I've been looking at. This is very well done in that respect. I'll show you Matthew 1 compared to the Cambridge, because the Cambridge is probably what really matters. But you'll see on the Cambridge, we're well into chapter 2. On the first page of Matthew here, we're not even done with chapter 1. So you'll see, it's pretty significant, the difference there. So you'll be able to take like this, and in theory, you should have more room for notes than you would in the the NASB Cambridge per words on the page. So words on the page, the less words you have on the page, the more notes you can put in regard to that text. Math it out. Ask Matthew Everhard. I'm going to talk about you a lot in this video. Pastor Matt. We could not be two different individuals, could we? We are those, and if you don't know him, you should go check out all his stuff, But here I am, prosperity preacher. There he is, all Presbyterian. They're both start with a P, though. That's good. Now, same thing. If you were to look at the ESV heirloom, let's go to Matthew. You're getting about the same amount, but this is still a little bit more. This ends at verse 18. This one ends at verse 22. So you're getting a little bit more on the page. Now, this obviously smaller margins and everything, but this is a great Bible. I'm so impressed with this, except for the page size. This in the just normal Bibles that they make, True Tones and Genuine Leathers and all that. That would be a great Bible. It's thicker. It's got thicker paper. Words Christ are in red. So anyway, the margins on this thing are excellent, okay? One thing that they do in here that's really good that they don't do in the Cambridge is at the end of the book, they just leave it open. So they don't start right there. In the Cambridge, they'll just start mark there and then keep on. So you get that little extra space there. There's also some blank pages in the back. Some double column line pages you can use. These great for whatever you want to use them for. But there's also there's a secret place to write in this Bible. Okay, I'm going to show you the secret place. The secret place is this concordance. Now, the concordance text is so small that you could not use this. Even I have to get up on this. This text is so small, it makes the Pitt Minion look like a billboard. I mean, it's just super small. Good grief. But here's the other side of that. I'm just going to break it to you. You don't need a concordance. I'm going to show you something. Concordance. Just let me show you that. Concordance. I mean, overall, this thing is perfect, I think. But I'm going to be going from this to this if I do it. And I'm still trying to figure it out because it might be this one for me. And this is the Crossway wide margin, but it might be this one. I love the ESV, and it's the ESV's become my very normal Bible. But I'll tell you what, I still always am jonesing to go back to the NASB. But I'm telling you, this Bible is thick. And you may think, well, what's the problem with a thick Bible? Travel, general handling it, if you got to hold this, if you want to hold this thing for a long time, it's going to wear your arm out. I mean, that's 4 pounds. And 4 pounds is nothing until you've held it for 60 minutes. And then it's like, good grief, that's 4 pounds. And it's another thing to hold 4 pounds or to hold 4 pounds. But when you're holding it like this for a long time, it starts wearing you out. And I ain't trying to get wore out. Overall, I'm just going to say it. I think this thing is thebomb.com. I would highly recommend it. It is not something you should just purchase. You need to consider it. I've already purchased it. And let me say this. I appreciate Bible publishers that send me stuff because I would not do this if they weren't, because it's a waste of money to have 50 Bibles just to review them on the internet. I would not have bought this if I wasn't already seriously considering doing it. I was able to buy it a little quicker, a little faster, because we have a lot of disposable income. So that is part of it. This is a Bible you should consider before you buy it. Don't just pull the trigger. Don't use it a little bit and go with it. I think this could be a long-term Bible. And if I end up using it, it's going to be a long-term Bible. The only thing I will say that I was disappointed in with this Bible, other than I was a little taken back by the thickness. I don't love that they put their thing up here. I wish they'd leave this alone. This is a beautiful leather. The only thing that disappointed me was that they didn't make it available in this green that I love. I love this green Bible. This is I used this one for a while. Not a super long time, but I just love this green because Green Power Ranger. I think having a green Bible is cool because of the Green Ranger. I know it's a weird reason, but I think it's cool. And it just looks different. Green is just a different it's just a different Bible. So you can get these at evangelicalbible.com. Again, I'm super impressed with this. Let me know, what do you think about the thickness? That's what I'm really curious about. Drop that in the comments below. Is it too thick? The Cambridge is a thick Bible to me, but it works. But this Bible right here, baby, this thing is, this is excellent. This is excellent. This page layout, I like this page layout more. This is almost taking the best of the heirloom thin line, or sorry, the heirloom wide margin and the Cambridge wide margin, NASB, any of them, because they're all kind of the same on the inside. But taking the best of these, combining them, putting them into a Bible, and making it as thick as both of them put together. Actually, let's see. Is that true? No, it's a little thicker, but not by much. Great Bible. I'm very pleased with this. Don't be surprised if you see this being my Bible when we hit 2021. But I'm not changing, because one of the rules to tear up your Bible is that you stick with one Bible. And I'm still here. I've been using the wide margin to test and get ready for a series that we're going to be doing. So when we get to 2021, it's going to be one of these, I can almost guarantee. So anyway, appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks so much. I'm praying that you continue to experience grace for life through Jesus Christ. Keep tearing up those Bibles. I'll see you in the next one. How to keep the healing.